You mentioned today a tether attachment. Now, talk to me a little bit about where this might fit on the farm.
Well, the first time we actually even used our tether attachment or our lifting kit was to pick up a barbecue for a little promotional video. Where I see it being used on the farm would be maybe lifting seed bags up to the top of the drill. Those canola bags can get pretty heavy, especially if you have to do quite a few.
In crop protection, you pay more for the brand or choose a generic and hope for the best. Life Scientific believes you shouldn't have to choose. Using reverse engineering science, we deliver performance you can trust at a price that makes sense. Visit lifescientific.com/north-america for products and retailers near you.
I'm Amber Bell, and this is Real Agriculture. I have with me today Eva Moller, who's the Director of Research and Training with LandView Drones. Welcome, Eva. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great to see you again.
Now, we did a drone demo today, and one of the ones that you flew was the T100 by DJI.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, we're going to talk about the realistic use case scenarios for drones, because there's a lot of talk about what they can do, what they might not be able to do. So why don't you break it down for us? What is a realistic use case scenario?
Yeah, I'd say the best thing for right now, and especially with all the rain we've been seeing these last couple weeks, would be getting into the fields, getting into spots where our sprayers can't. We at LandView don't do custom work, but we've been getting lots of calls these last couple weeks with people who need, 20 acres here done, 30-acre plot of wild oats done that they just can't quite get into right now, and especially with all this rain. So that would be my first say with this big spray drone behind me. Great use for that, especially at the start of the season.
Now, there's a lot of questions about the speed of the drone, how much ground they can cover, and the T100 is the biggest in the DJI lineup. So tell me a little bit about that.
So yeah, for right now, the max speed on this T100 is 72 kilometers an hour. That's not quite realistic as to what we're going to spray for speed. It's hard to pick up obstacles going that fast, and it's also, there's parts with the warranty that can be void if we do have a crash going that fast. So there's safety things that we need to think about too. Usually with these spray drones, we're spraying at about 48 kilometers an hour and about 4 meters off the ground, 3 to 4 meters off the ground. So we can cover about 70 to 75 acres an hour with this spray drone, which is a huge jump from the 40 acres an hour the little brother T50 was rated for.
What would be one of the use case scenarios that it doesn't quite fit? We're not quite there yet technologically wise.
I would say doing giant acres. Obviously it might take a little bit longer to do a full section or even a half section with a drone of this size. For the most part, it's not fully going to replace your ground sprayer, and that's okay. It's not meant to just yet. These are a tool, they're an addition, they work amazing with our ground sprayers to get into those tight areas where we don't want to take our ground sprayer. Think of your pastures. We all have pasture land that is so bumpy you don't even want to drive a pickup across it. This drone is amazing for that, and even T50s are even better. You can get into even tighter spots with the T50, a little bit of a smaller drone. So those are another great spot where I see these drones working for us.
Now, does it automatically figure out what the incline is, hills? What if there's something in the middle of a field, like a tree?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways we can get around that. These drones have a few different modes. So we have hill and orchard mode, we have like fruit tree mode, we have above water mode, and we have flat ground mode. So most of the time what we're seeing here, especially in prairies in Alberta, is people flying with flat land mode. But we do have a few people that are flying in with the oil field. They're reseeding grasses and trees on pipelines and stuff. Those are some intense hills we're seeing with almost a 60% grade, and people are able to actually fly those with the T50. It's got a radar on the bottom, so you're able to keep a consistent height even when those hills are at a 60 degree grade. And then also with the water part, we can fly over water with these things. Obviously, we're not flying over a 2-acre slough, but if we needed to, there's some products you need to apply to water. We can fly over that. Being in the water mode, we'll just turn off all of the radar. So think golf courses, think trout ponds and stuff like that, keeping everything clean in those. So we're able to do that actually really easy and safely with these drones as well. We don't have to get that close to the product being applied.
You mentioned today a tether attachment. Now, talk to me a little bit about where this might fit on the farm.
Well, the first time we actually even used our tether attachment or our lifting kit was to pick up a barbecue for a little promotional video. So we picked up a Traeger barbecue with our lifting kit. It can lift up to 100 kilograms. Where I see it being used on the farm would be maybe lifting seed bags up to the top of the drill. Those canola bags can get pretty heavy, especially if you have to do quite a few over and over again all day. And then we've also had guys I've seen that they've lifted deer out of the bush after they've shot it a few days after. So that's an option for that too. Over in China where these drones are made, we're seeing them being used to lift like crates of fruit and stuff out of the hills. But there's tons and tons of options. A lot of farmers are just getting the lift kit to get the lift kit and see what they can do with it. So it's been fun to see.
And it can do the full weight limit with the lift kit?
Yep. So 100 kilograms, the full lift capacity would be about 220 pounds.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And that was Eva Moller on Real Agriculture.
For the latest ag news, agronomic advice, and more, check out realagriculture.com and Real Ag Radio.